Alright everyone, this is Zero Budget Geek and welcome to another Sentinels of the Multiverse Hero Guide, this time for Ra, the Fire God. So what we have here is another powerhouse of the Sentinels of the Multiverse team. Ra is a specialist of blasting and burning things down, and we're going to take a look at his powers and his cards so you can see just what I am talking about. So let's take a look at his main power right here, and his main power is Pyre, which allows Ra to do 2 damage to 1 target, and it is fire damage. You know that's a power that's just gonna be able to, in of itself, it's gonna be able to blast through lots of things. But you know, combine it with some damage buffing, and he will just starts getting insane. Another card that Ra has here is the Blazing Tornado. It is an ongoing, which and it's very simple. Ra now deals 3 damage to 1 target, so use this instead of the other one. We take a look at his Drawn to Flame card, another ongoing card, which is Ra will deal each non-hero target X fire damage, where X is equal to the number of villain ongoing cards in play. So as you can see in the picture, has Citizen Dawn. It works pretty good against her. Any villain that has lots of ongoing cards in play, this card will be useful against them. Now it's interesting to note that this card still works if there are 0 ongoing cards in play. If there are 0 ongoing cards in play and you have some kind of damage boost to fire, this card will still work only because of the damage boost. But generally, if there's not a lot of ongoing cards, then you don't really want to use this card. Excavation, this is it's an okay card. You can put 3 cards from the environment trash on the bottom of the environment deck, and then Ra will be able to draw that many cards. It can be useful if you've spent your hand, but generally you usually have something to play, so not that useful of a card. And you know, giving the environment card deck cards back, it can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, depends on the situation. Fire Blast is Ra's one of the most damaging cards. It is a one-shot, but it deals 5 damage to a single target. Just play this and boom, with some damage buffing, it just gets insane. Flame Barrier is a card you have to be a little bit careful with, but it's kind of a no-brainer to play. It's an ongoing, and it is limited, so you can only have 1 in play. You put this card out, and anytime Ra takes damage, he will react by dealing 2 fire damage to that target. You'll have to be a little bit careful around you know, effects where other heroes may cause damage to you, collateral damage or anything like that, because you can't control this, so it will attack them back. And if there is a damage buff for the heroes in play, that could be, you know, you can end up really hurting your teammates. But overall, this is usually a good worthwhile card. It'll help you take down villains that much easier. Flame Spike, this is a very simple card. You deal 1 damage to 1 target, and you can use an additional power this turn. Now Ra is definitely a character that can benefit from being able to use multiple powers per turn. With the different ongoings that he has, they have different power uses, so having an additional power use on a turn will work really good with him. Flesh of the Sun God, another ongoing card of his. This one makes Ra immune to fire damage, which is very useful, but its power is very interesting as well. It makes hero character cards immune to fire damage until the start of Ra's next turn. So if you foresee some fire damage coming, you can do that, protect the team against area effect spells. But you have to be careful with some heroes want to take damage, like Absolute Zero. He wants to take fire damage. This will make him immune, so you know, be a little careful with this card when you play it, but generally it's gonna help you out. Here's another card that goes along with that. Imbued Fire, another ongoing card, increases all fire damage by 1. Now notice, all fire damage, not just Ra's fire damage. So you have to be careful with some environments like the Insula Primus, where you know, you can some of the cards do fire damage, and this would you know, increase that damage as well. And it changes the damage type of damage dealt by hero targets to fire. Again, this could mess with people that you know, heroes that rely on certain damage types. This may mess up their plan, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. And the power on this card is to just destroy it if it gets problematic. We have Infernal. This is Ra's area of effect attack. It does 3 damage to 1 target, and then you can deal 1 fire damage to up to 5 other targets. So you know, blast the main one that you want to hit, and then you get some collateral damage. When you have some damage buffs in play, this card can get very, very powerful. Living Conflagration, you know, yet another ongoing card for Ra. When you just playing this card will let you do 2 damage to a single target, which is a nice bonus. And its power is you can deal 1 target 1 fire damage, and you can draw a card. So you do less damage with this card, but it draws you a card, so that's the trade-off. Not a bad card at all. Scorched Earth, it's very similar to the Drawn to the Flame. This one, you deal each non-hero target X fire damage equal to the number of environment cards in play. Now, if you're playing right, there won't be a lot of environment cards in play, but in the situations that there are, this card will be very useful because you'll be able to, you know, blast all the enemies, you know, for some major damage, especially if, once again, if there is a damage boost. So, you know, this is a situational card like the Drawn to the Flame. You know, both are situational cards, but if the situation does come up, you'll find a very good answer for that. Solar Flare, a card that can just be very, very ridiculous, almost broken in the right situations, but there is a drawback. Basically, as long as this is in play and it's an ongoing, you will increase the fire damage dealt by Ra by 2. So everything that you have just gets much more powerful. But at the end of your turn, Ra may deal himself 4 psychic damage. If he does not, he'll lose this card. If he chooses to take the psychic damage, then he'll keep this card in play. So sometimes that 4 damage is worth it when you can dish out, you know, at least twice that amount. So Solar Flare. Summon Staff. This is a card you pretty much almost always want to play when you get it. Lets you search your deck for the Staff of Ra, which there are 4 of in the deck. You put into your hand, and then you can shuffle your deck. Then you get a free card draw, and then you may play a card. So even if you already have the Staff of Ra in play, you still probably would want to use this Summon Staff because it lets you draw a card, and you can play, you know, another card. So it doesn't take up your, you know, your card play for the turn to use this, and it'll, you know, get you through your deck quicker. And there we have the Staff of Ra. It's Ra's equipment card. It is limited. You can only have 1 in play. And when you play this card, Ra will gain 3 hit points, which is his only healing, and increases all damage that Ra deals by 1. So combined with all his other stuff, you know, you just start really doing massive amount of damage once this is out. And its power is Ra can deal 1 target 3 projectile damage by destroying this card. So essentially he's throwing it at them or breaking it over their head. And you know, it's good to use that power to get the extra point of damage if you have another Staff of Ra in your hand or the Summon Staff. And what I considered one of his worst cards is the Wrathful Gaze. It's an ongoing card. You put it in play, and its power is to destroy 1 target with 2 or fewer hit points. I don't like this card because generally there's not a lot of targets in play with 2 or fewer hit points, and if they are, it's very easy to destroy them with any number of his other attacks. But this lets him get around some damage reduction, but generally you know, you want to pass on this card. So that's Ra. He's basically just a cannon. He's going to blast things, anything that comes out he is going to just burn it up, which leads to one of his weaknesses because most of his damage is fire damage. You know, he can throw his staff to do projectile damage, but otherwise he's going to be doing fire damage. So anything that gives immunity to that is going to be a problem. And Ra cannot remove environment or ongoing cards that are in play easily. You know, if they have a you know, hit points, then he can blast them to death, but otherwise he has a problem with those. So that is Ra, big blaster. And you know, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to check the annotations and the description box for links to the other episodes in this series as I cover more heroes. So until next time, see you soon.